So somebody out there wanted me to write about, or at least talk about cats and their psychic abilities and their role with us as companions and friends. And since Cornelius decided that he needed to be up on my chair here and hang out with me, and I'm sure you noticed that in one of the last ones, I sort of use an expletive and go smack the cat who's being a little pain. Oh, do I believe that cats are sensitive? I do, absolutely. Uh, do I do approach my cats as sometimes ways of helping to verify when I don't have other sensitive people around to let me know that things are really going on. I can't front load my cat. The cat is not going to be he's not going to be prey to the same mistakes that a human psychic might be prey to. The kind of mass hysteria that can occasionally occur. I get all worked up and I start talking about, oh my goodness, I sense this dark thing over in the corner and da 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 da. And there's somebody else who's sensitive in the room and she starts picking up something that verifies what I'm saying, only you can never be 100% sure if she's picking up what I said I was picking up because I just set that image in her head and she has very obligingly, on an unconscious level, started to put that image together for herself. Well, I can't do that with the cat. The cat doesn't speak English, at least not reliably so, although I wouldn't put it past Cornelius to understand at least a few words. Um, but some of the most extraordinary experiences for me have been when the cat or another animal responds to something that I thought I also perceived. A few weeks ago, I went down into the basement where my library is, and my library is simultaneously a library, and we also have it as a ritual chamber for House Kepru. Some of you are going to immediately freak at the word ritual. I will explain that in another YouTube video just to let you know I'm not sacrificing goats in my basement. We actually get around, hold hands, and while we do not do either the hokey pokey nor do we sing kumbaya, it is not a dark or evil practice. But the end result being, we do a lot of spirit work, especially around this time of the year with things down in the ritual chamber. A lot of family members who have passed on the other side we chat to and talk to. I go downstairs, the lights are out, my cats are not in the habit of hanging out in the middle of the ritual chamber, or any room for that matter, if there aren't other people there. They're very social, even if their idea of social is being on the other side of the room, curled up on a chair, snoozing and occasionally looking at you and like, uh, anyway, she's in the dark, in the middle of the ritual chamber, rubbing up against something that isn't actually there. Head-butting it and purring and pushing her face into it, and in every respect responding as if there was a person standing there. Which, to my perception, there was, just not physically. So the cat was responding to something that I couldn't see and yet I could sense. And I think that in many ways that's one of the values, and it's why a lot of my witchier friends will use their animal companions as like familiars. Uh, they do seem to be sensitive to things. I think in some respects this may be because they run more on instinct than we do. I really do think our big brains get in our way a lot of times. We over intellectualize things while objectivity and doubt are tremendously useful for anybody who is delving into their psychic abilities. These things are at the same time the greatest handicaps that we have. If we think too hard about something, we project expectations on it. If we go into a situation expecting to have an experience, we can build that experience up with our minds. So again, the fact that we can think rationally and sometimes too rationally about our experiences oftentimes can color them, can taint them. My pussycat Cornelius and Katja, my other pussycat, they don't have that problem. They just experience. I don't expect that the cats go and sit in a corner contemplating the universal meaning of that experience. They don't question their sanity. They don't overanalyze things, and they don't project their expectations upon an experience, subsequently coloring their interpretation of that experience. They simply experience and they react. And as creatures of instinct, I find that their reactions are far more trustworthy. I like verification, outside verifications of my own perceptions. If I can't get that verification by bouncing it off of several other people who I know are sensitive and who I can guarantee were not front loaded, who were separate from the initial perception, who are objective. If I can't always get that, I'll use my cat. I'll be perfectly honest. They also, double as lap warmers and inevitably decide that they absolutely have to have attention at the most inconvenient moment. But I will say, if you think that you have something in your home that is threatening, even if you think you have something in your home that isn't threatening, pay attention to how your pets behave. If your pets also think that there's something in the house, I would take that as more verification for your own perceptions. If the pets do not seem to be threatened by something that you think is in the house, and you yourself think that this is a threatening thing, pay attention to what your pets have to say. Pay attention to how they're reacting. If they think that what's going on is harmless, if they do not seem stressed out about it, if they do not run, if they do not hiss, if they do not stand and bark at a fixed point for hours on end, if they are perfectly relaxed to go into that deep dark basement, well, then the thing that you're sensing may not be as evil as you think it is.